Hi, everyone. Win Claybaugh here, Dean of Paul Mitchell Schools, and welcome to our second Fireburner for 2021. Our 18th annual fundraising campaign is off to this amazing start, and I'm so grateful for all of you and your hard work to make a difference in this world. But before we go any further, I'm so excited about introducing this co-host that I have for today's Zoom call. He's a hairdresser, he's a salon owner, platform artist, mega award-winning industry legend who inspired hairdressers around the globe. And knowing that I've had this very long career with him, we sort of started off with each other, and we have some funny stories to share about that, about our banter backstage, like, what are you going to talk about? I don't know. What are you going to talk about? Trying to figure this out back in the 80s, pretty exciting time that we've had, and to know what he has done with his voice, his name, his talent, and the passion that he has for the beauty industry. You guys, please welcome Global Artistic Director of John Paul Mitchell Systems. You guys, Robert Cromings is here with us. Robert, welcome.
What an honor. When I'm always excited when the phone rings around this time of year. You know, people say, why do I get involved? It's my grateful pleasure based on what the beauty industry has done for me and will do for many of you. So when I get that phone call, you know our philosophy in this company, it's yes. Say yes to the dress, say yes to everything. It's going to make a difference. So congratulations to each and every one of you and what you're doing out there. We're so impressed.
Well, you know, Robert, some people have this attitude that they're going to wait until they're mega successful before they then start to give back, right? And I have a feeling, actually, I know this about you. You started giving back when you were still probably sleeping on a mattress in a dumpy apartment, right? I mean, you knew at the very beginning of your career that giving back and making a difference had to be a part of that brilliant career that you've launched. Why did you do that? Like, why are you so supportive of our fundraising campaign? And you have been, by the way, from the very beginning. You guys, you all need to know that Robert has said yes to being a part of this campaign every single year. He's one of the top prizes for our top 20 fundraising schools. And so, Robert, why is it so important that you've had this philosophy and this belief system in practice in your career?
You know, I think one of the most important things for us all to understand, we're in a networking business. It's who we talk to. It's the conversation. It's not just the technical side. It's your chairside manner. You know, an old term when was, you know, be a go-getter. I like to think about it as being go-givers. It's about giving. And I'm just saying, when you do that, there's a sort of pleasure that comes through you, any experience in life. So for me, what I get very excited about, especially with the Future Pros and all the schools involved, is that they're doing things oftentimes for people they don't know yet. And I'm just saying, to me, it's priming the pump for the future of getting to talk to strangers about things you're passionate about. And to me, it takes 21 days to create a habit. This could be the greatest habit you ever get into in school. So it gets you in the habit of talking about things that are important, whether it's important to your business, to your career, or people that are in need. And what I do also enjoy when is the diversity. I just watched the tape that was talking about all the charities we support. There's a little something for everybody there. And I think that's what's so beautiful about it. It's not just one cause that you could choose to pick or choose. It's the fact that we're very inclusive, and there's a little bit of something that affects every path of life that sits in our chair. And I think that's why this has went on so long and has always done so well. And I think this year could be the biggest year yet.
I agree with you. And to those future professionals and team members, you might be thinking, Win, I can barely pay my rent, and now you're asking me to help somebody else that's in need. I'm in need. You guys, this is the law of the universe. And Robert and I can attest to this, that if you develop this attitude now early in your career, that yeah, you're concerned with your own paycheck, but you're just as concerned with raising money and awareness and putting good back out into the community. You can't just take. You can't just consume people's paychecks as they pay you for your hair and beauty services. For you to be a giver, as Robert says, is just such a great habit. And thank you, Robert, so much for being a special guest. But guess what? We have somebody else, another special guest who's going to have an amazing message. And I am so impressed with what he has pulled off every single year with our fundraising campaign. He's the future professional advisor at Paul Mitchell School in Fresno, and probably one of the most passionate fundraisers in our network. Like a true visionary, he's always the first to volunteer. He's always the first to reply and say yes. One of the most positive people in the room. you guys please welcome Joaquin. Welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you for having me, Gwen. Again, my name is Joaquin Navarro. I'm from Palmito, the school Fresno. And this season, like all 4 seasons of the year, is my favorite time of the year. And Eric and Dan have been so kind to let me extend it longer and longer and longer. So we're doing it almost year round. And giving back is such a great feeling. And I love what we do here, especially with our future professionals who don't hesitate to give back. And I always educate them on what they're giving to. So again, thank you for having me this morning.
Well, you know, what makes you so personally passionate about fundraising and giving back?
It goes back to my grandmother. She was an immigrant from Mexico. Her and my grandfather came over, and you know, she had to cross over 5 times because she got sent back. And when she finally made it, she had 13 children, and she came. And after a while, they were able to buy their own property, and they worked in the fields, or what we call the pisca. They worked in the fields, picking oranges, grapes, olives, you name it, they did it. And she always gave back no matter what she didn't have. And her house was known as the house. And every single day when she would make these big pots and barrels of food, and people from all over would just come and eat. And she would make breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She had a farm. We'd get our milk from the cows, our eggs from the chickens. But she gave so much back. And then she started to build these little homes in the back of her property for anybody else that crossed over. And she gave them a safe place to stay. And she would feed them until they got on their feet and they were able to go on the road. And she did that for so many years. And then it got passed on to my mother, who also is the same way. She still cooks a lot of food, and everyone comes over to her house. And even when she doesn't have much, because we didn't grow up poor, we just didn't have much. And she was a very proud Latina, and she worked in the fields too. And sometimes we didn't have Christmas or school clothes, but we never felt like we didn't have it, because she always gave us so much love and a good ethic of work. And giving back to me is so much. And that's why I like to give back, because I like to represent my grandmother and my mother and what they did for so many people out there that crossed over and didn't have any direction. And they did it with even giving them the clothes off their back. So that's why I love fundraising.
Well, first of all, I think your grandmother, I've heard the story before, Jacqueline. She lived in a shoe, yeah? 13 kids. I mean, come on. But, you know, oftentimes I think what's really important here is looking at different people's points of view. The question for me is always, what's my favorite thing that people do out there? My favorite one of all time is the topless car wash, because right away it implies that you're going to see something you shouldn't see. But what I really love about the topless car wash, for $10 more, they do the top of the car. And that's always been one of my favorites. But I will just say for this year, especially, my daughter, Monahan Rose, works at the front desk, and she's often there. And I just love that she came to me on her own accord and asked for me and her Aunt Steph to give her a little help, get her some T-shirts that we knew. And she was all involved in this fundraising campaign. Now, easily you could say, well, that's for the future pros, or it's for the learning leaders. It's, you know, the reality is it's for everyone. And if you really want to identify the most important thing in the beauty industry, it's being part of a team. That to me is the deal breaker. So the fact that she can see the value and what it's going to mean for her school, it touched my little parent heart this year. So well done, Monahan.
So Joaquin, you got to share with us some of your top fundraising tips, because your school, Fresno, you guys, in that little tiny community, is always one of the top fundraising schools. So share with us, Joaquin.
Oh, I'm really I really get into this, and I'm really impacted by all these, and I really genuinely care. So you have to go in with a genuine heart and find the personal and professional experiences to resonate with the FPs or the outsiders. We have to know what we're talking about, because you see all these ads for donate here, donate there, and people don't know if they trust it. So I always dig in deep and I learn about what we're given to, how it relates to me, how I can make it a reflection of me to throw some empowerment. So anybody that you can touch, you have to be passionate about it. And even when I'm talking about it, I'm so excited because I love everything that we do. We have 62 children every minute enter a Children Network hospital. And that's one of our biggest charities brought by Mary Osmond. And I'm so grateful for that. I have a cousin with spinal bifida who was told he was not going to make it past 4. I think he's 22 years old, over 26 surgeries. And we do a spinal bifida walk for him. We do walkathons, we donate to him, anything to help out. So somebody knows somebody who knows somebody. And when you bring that to them with this heart and passion and your genuine heart, they're going to trust you and they're going to donate and tell other people to donate. And I really love that. And that's one of my tips. My second tip is, it doesn't always have to be big. I have pizza parties. The students are going to go out to eat at Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Starbucks. I have pizza parties. Like this week, it's Pizza Party Tuesday, Frito Boats on Wednesday, and then my mom makes breakfast burritos because she can cook. Breakfast burritos on Thursday. Those always sell out before I even get into the door. They sell out. And just off that, we're looking at $750 to up to $1,000 just because they're eating to give back. And I always tell them, even if it's just $1 of a slice of pizza, you're giving to somebody in Africa to have a nourished meal for one day for Food for Africa. So I thank them for that. And it's those small things that really can make a small impact. And then lastly, if you're going to have a big class, because I've had Liberty in her team, John Mosley, I have one this coming up Monday, plan them out. And you can't just say, oh, take this class. You have to let them know it's an arsenal to add to your skills for when you go into the salon. So if it's eyelashes, if it's hair extensions, if it's barbering with John Mosley and Stephanie the Bombshell Martinez, you have to let them know this is also benefiting you. And you have to be trustworthy to also tell them that you don't know John Mosley, but I'm telling you, trust me on this. He's going to teach you a great class and give you so much knowledge and information that you're not even going to know what to do with it. So I've been selling out these classes left and right, but it's also benefiting them without them really realizing that this is going to a great charity like Lisa Gibbons, whose charity takes care of the caretaker, because we forget about them sometimes. And like I said, I just love these charities that we have. And those are my tips, but genuinely go in with the heart and share your experiences, and also have them come up and talk about their experiences.
Just simply amazing. I'm so grateful to you. And I'm also very, very grateful to Deanne and Eric, your owners there in Fresno, who support you every step of the way. And that makes, I know, a huge difference. So thanks so much for being a part of this, Joaquin. You're incredible.
Thank you guys, much love.
Now we're going to start off now and share with you the victories for our first few weeks of fundraising. Get this, our first 100 contest already has, you ready? 61 winners, which means we've already raised $183,000 just from this one idea. So there are 39 spots still pending. They won't last long. So again, if you reach that goal of raising $3,000, you will be part of the first 100 event.
Yes, somebody mentioned gala. First of all, this industry win, as you and I both know, it's who you get to hang around, and this will be your first spectacular viewing point with some of the top leaders in the beauty industry. So for the first 100 contest winners, I love there's only 39 left. So it's future professionals, team members, national educators, and alumni. I love that particular detail, because when you join Paul Mitchell School, it's not for your year-long education, your 2 years of night school. You've connected, much like people connect to Harvard or Yale. You're in a position here to make certain things happen simply because you went to a Paul Mitchell School, and I think it's a big part. So this fundraiser will be in Beverly Hills. I've been there many occasions. It's a very extravagant event. And what I really enjoy about that, this will also be followed up. If you're one of the lucky 100 winners to raise over $3,000, you're going to get hands-on education from two of my favorites, Ruth Roach, one of the most dynamic educators in the world, and then one of my pet peeve favorites, Mr. Fernie the barber. Fern just blows my mind on what he does on Instagram, but he's just one of the greatest examples of people coming through as a future pro, becoming a learning leader, and then becoming just an icon in the beauty industry. And also, you can't have a show without makeup. Deborah Dietrich, who is just an icon when it comes to, you know, makeup and beauty and all the things she's done through movies and being a great educator. That'll be part of your treat for you doing a little bit extra. And I would just say that many people hear about this. Many people would dream about going to the gala. But for a few of you, you've already set your mind on it. This is going to make a difference. This will be a start point to your career that I promise you'll never regret to the day you die. So I can't wait to see you guys at the gala.
I agree. And Robert, you're right on, because we have alumni. So people who graduated from a Paul Mitchell school 10 years ago, and they are going to be part of the first 100. So they graduated, they're long gone. They're in a salon working successfully, and yet they raised $3,000 that they're donating to our Paul Mitchell Schools fundraising campaign, and they are going to be with us there in Beverly Hills. So you guys, when you come to Beverly Hills, the first 100 winners, you're going to join some special guests at the gala. This year's guests include cast ambassador Nicole Scherzinger. You guys, she's best known as the lead singer of the Pussycat Dolls. Also in attendance will be Lisa Gibbons, Kathy Buckley, Thirst Project founder Seth Maxwell, and many, many other celebrities. But also, you guys, the entertainment that night, I'm so excited about this, is going to be Tony-nominated actor and singer Megan Hilty. I saw her live a couple of years ago, and I had to get her for our big event. Maybe you guys remember her from that TV show called Smash.
Well, first of all, don't you want to go to the gala? I love that song. Pussycat Dolls were my favorite. I just seen her doing some of the campaign work for you, and I was so impressed because I knew who she was. And I think her brother's a hairdresser, a very famous one. Yeah. So I think it's a kind of great full circle, which is great. But just one thing I want to, you've got to be in the circle to win. The first 100 fill up quick. I think we got 39 slots left. And all I want you to do is make sure you inform your learning leaders, whatever that's supposed to happen at the school, so they could be made aware that you are a contender and that you are coming to Los Angeles with the rest of the team.
Okay, so you guys, we have some victories to share of what is going on in our schools. So in our last Fireburner, we celebrated some amazing victories from your launch parties, from your one events and fundraisers, and the news just keeps getting better and better.
Paul Mitchell, the school Pasadena, we've already heard from them, but what I loved about this, because this is, again, being aware of what's going on in the world right now. This is about the coalition to abolish slavery and trafficking. And, a couple of years ago, this was not on the radar when, and the fact that it's coming in through social media, the transparency of the world, we're starting to see where things can be rectified. And I love that Pasadena have done something here to really make a difference. And again, the diversity of what we're talking about is really, somebody in my chair is going to be affected by one of these. And that's why I think it's so powerful in the business that we're in, touching people's hearts and souls. That diversity of the clientele that we currently see are somehow involved in something to do with this, no matter how big or small it is. And I just love that we're bringing this up to the attention, because I think the more we talk about it, the more we understand, then I think we become really helpful in making these things disappear.
Well, it is important that we talk about this. And there are people who right now who are watching this, you're listening to this, and you're thinking, wait a minute, Paul Mitchell Schools is taking on the task of ending sex trafficking and slavery. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And we have been for several years now. We're one of the largest donors to this incredible organization that does work throughout the planet. And I'll tell you, Robert, when we decided that we were going to partner with CAST, the Coalition to Abolish Slavery and Trafficking, lots of people said, no, that's too controversial. You shouldn't take that on. And we're like, no, we're going to take it on. We're going to take on sex trafficking. We're going to take on starving children in Africa. We're going to take on building clean water wells. We're going to take on so many different causes and issues. One of the cool things about the launch party that Pasadena held was that they invited people who represent that incredible organization, CAST, including manager Danielle Wright was there. And you guys, she was joined by a survivor. And also, she's a Paul Mitchell graduate, Lyrish. So Paul Mitchell Schools provided a scholarship to Lyrish through the CAST organization. And Lyrish was there in the Pasadena school sharing her powerful message as well. So congratulations, Pasadena. Robert, I know that you have more victories to share with everybody. So keep on taking it away, Robert.
Well, incredibly. I get to visit a lot of the schools. When one of my favorites to go to that's got the aloha spirit is Honolulu. There is a spirit of Paul Mitchell on that island. I get to go there once or twice a year, and I always feel closest to my mentor, the man, Paul Mitchell. And You know, when we're there, we try to make a little guest appearance, myself and Angus, to Honolulu, and there's just a beautiful spirit. But I love what they've been doing here. So, you know, it's sometimes reaching out to other folks. So Fumi is an incredible hairdresser, great educator. I know him very well. His beautiful wife, Ashton, they did a fundraiser where they gave education, raised over $2,700, and then moved in to kind of work with a cut-a-thon with a few others there and created another 2,000. Now, these numbers may sit you back a bit, but how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. I don't care if it's 25 cents, $100, your contribution is going to accumulate. That's the beauty of this particular network. And again, I'm just touched with my heart and soul that, first of all, Fumi, well done. Giving back is such a key characteristic as an educator. You know, mentorship is believing in other people until they get the chance to believe in themselves. So great example of leadership there for both you and your beautiful wife. So well done, Honolulu.
Yeah, I'm glad that we brought up Fumi because you guys, you know, educators, you don't have to look just within your own school, like how are we going to raise this money? Reach out because these people will say yes. So we've already mentioned Fernie, we've mentioned Deborah Dietrich. We're going to mention some other advanced education leaders. You guys reach outside of your school and ask people. You only get what you ask for. Ask these people to support you. I guarantee you they're going to say yes. And many of our educators are ready and willing to help with your fundraising goals. Advanced education team member, Holly Cabin, she raised $3,000 so far. Phil Wood, I love this guy. We're featuring him this month through our social media. He has raised over $14,000 towards his personal goal of $20,000. And then Dolce Lash founder Liberty Elmer has raised, you guys get this, over $76,000 with her lash extension classes.
Unbelievable. You know, like many schools, and I used to think it was just a little trick. They don't wait till fundraising time. They start thinking about it every single day. My mother-in-law buys Christmas presents in March. She's thinking Christmas thoughts in March. So, you know, you don't want to be the last minute shopper like I am at the mall on the 24th of December. So I'm just saying these are things that you get ahead. So, you know, the Paul Mitchell School in Richland have already put together a fundraising class. They've got fundraising members that meet quite consistently. You know, they have different ideas where they're doing treats. And I will just say, I heard it a little early on. I don't know what it is about hairdressers, but they will do stuff for food. Cupcakes, pizza. There's just something about it. You could leave $100 bill in the salon floor and nobody would touch it. But if you leave a hoagie, people are in
It's
there.
gone.
So food is a great way to trigger emotion, great way to get it in. So again, the thing to learn from here is getting ahead of things, not waiting until it's due, getting into it every day. And that way you can be very effective on accumulating little amounts of money every single day and still make it to your grand prize without any outrageous donations like the $76,000 you just talked about.
Well, they've done fashion shows, casual for a cause, dog treats that they're selling, personalized tumblers, all kinds of things. They've already raised $25,000 towards their goal of raising $30,000. Now, Palm to the school in Napa up in Idaho, they also focus on year-round fundraising, and they've already raised over $22,000. Get this, they raised nearly $14,000 before their launch parties and added another $8,500 in just 1 week. They had this, their Olympic rings fundraising wall. You got to check this thing out. It has a chart to track the progress of their first 100 winners and those who are working towards that goal. So congratulations there in Napa.
You know, talking about the one events, I think it's very important that we understand we can all make a difference. Paul Mitchell the School Salt Lake raised $12,789 with one of their events. That's an incredible total, bringing their current total to $23,000. I'm reading this right off the script because it's so outstanding. Tammy Thurman said the most impressive donations come from everyone doing the work, meaning it's not up to the leader, it's not up to the boss, the dean of the school, it's up to each one of us. Because I don't think we're just looking for dollars in the bucket when I think we're looking for the effort. And that to me is the most important. Just putting the effort in. I don't care if you just raise 50 cents, put the effort in, be part of it so that you can hold up that gold medal at the end saying, I helped, no matter how little or how much, but it's getting involved in it is what I'm looking for. You know, as a person who one day may be lucky enough to have you as an employee in my company, I'm looking for people that want to make effect on things we talk about as leaders, not just the people who sit back. We're looking for the visionaries like all of you. And this is a very visionary contest when you really look at what we're doing for people that oftentimes we're never going to meet. But that's why the cause is so profound. And to have 15 or 16,000 future pros involved, it's just a matter of time that we're going to hit our goal. It's quite easy to understand with that man and women power.
You guys, we have lots of exciting updates about the one event. Get this, Palm to the School North Haven raised $4,900 with their one event. Palm to the School Honolulu, over $5,000. Rexburg, Palm to the School Rexburg, $7,425 with their one event. Dallas raised $8,380. Rudy and Kelly, $9,700. And get this, Palm to the School of Birmingham, and they invited me to Zoom in while they were in the middle of that, which was such a treat for me. So you guys use me any chance that you can, I'm available. But Birmingham raised $14,000. If you haven't held a one event yet, it's not too late. They're easy. They work and they don't require much advanced planning, but you need to follow the guidelines. Follow the best practices to make sure that your one event is absolutely successful. You can check out the materials on the hub and follow the systems for the most effective fundraisers you can do. Now, I want to talk about this contest that we just finished. I want to send a big thank you to everyone who entered our 2021 Deck Your Walls contest. We received over 250 photos of your colorful, creative, and brilliant ideas. The Andrew Gomez Dream Foundation's board of directors helped us select the winner. They were the judges. And by the way, it was not an easy task. All of your schools look amazing. Again, it's over the top this year. And I know that your thermometers and walls, they spark conversation. So people walk in and they say, what's that all about? And you get to have conversations with them that matter. And I keep on using that term, conversations that truly matter. You get to talk about the organizations, as Robert mentioned earlier, the organizations that you personally are passionate about. And by the way, if you don't have a fundraising wall or thermometer yet, it's not too late. If you need some inspiration, you guys take a look at these outstanding displays.
You know, the Temple School, great friends of the company. I love what they're always doing. There's always an enthusiasm and an energy. So they did some incredible stuff. They created a jungle theme. And again, the diversity of the themes, we're not going to tell you what to do. I think that's where the creative mind begins. But I just seen a movie about the jungle with the rock. So I kind of know where they were going with it. And I just love this. They converted with monkeys. They've got snakes, frogs. They decorated their wash house with a tree. They have a backlit waterfall. I mean, this is Disneyland stuff. This is beyond a school. But again, it's going to snap people out of the norm. When people come into the building, they're going to, what is going on right now? And they're going to ask you the question. Shame on them when they ask you the question, because you're going to tell them, we're in the middle of fundraising. What can we do to get you involved? So I just love that, right down to the owners of the school being named on top of, what is it they said? The monkeys are named Sharon and Charles.
Yeah, the monkeys are Charles and Sharon. I love that.
Well, you know, it's a beautiful experience, and they're part of this incredible thing. And again, it's to honor the leadership, but it's really an opportunity for each and every one of us. And I'm just saying, there's no theme that you could think of that won't work. It's getting the school behind it. Every idea is great. We've seen so many over the years. And I'm just saying, I think last year was the greatest show on earth. People were very inspired by that. There's so many ways you can pick an idea, and that's where people like us get very engaged to get into these creative processes. And to me, it's like a Trojan horse. You get this excitement going, then people are going to come in there and you've got something hidden as a secret that you can tell them about to inform them, to get them involved in this incredible experience. So keep up the incredible work. Keep inspiring the old guy like me with your creative visions, because it never becomes old to me. I always get fascinated by what you guys are doing out there and the way your incredible minds work.
Isn't that great? Palm to the School of Salt Lake City. And when I saw this, I had to call her, the creative master, Tracy Walker. And she said that she was inspired by the idea that people are like raindrops. We might not make that much of a difference with our individual donations, she told me, but when we all come together, we can create a flood that has an amazing effect around the world. And so they created this rainforest and a rainbow of hope to create some magic and motivation. And apparently it's working, because in their first 5 days of fundraising, you guys, they surpassed their totals for the last 4 years. So congratulations to Tracy and to the entire team there in Salt Lake City.
Well, this one I love, Grand Rapids, Michigan, The Wizard of Oz. Talk about a theme. I mean, where's your slippers, Dorothy? I just love it. First of all, the yellow brick road, which you can already visualize as your target, your path to success. So I think, again, for the visual learning, it's incredible. What I loved about this particular event is, there's so many ways for you to pull into these kind of ideas, because I don't know if any of you ever watched the movie, but there's so many ways. The Cowardly Lion, put them up, the Tin Man. How could we interpret this? And that's what I love about working with artists. The interpretation of how we see things is so incredible. So I think that's a beautiful thing for Michigan. When I look at the different sort of statures, we're seeing some Dr. Seuss, I Am the Cat in the Hat. I don't think there's anything you couldn't make a theme out of, to be quite honest. And I think that's what's so resourceful in the network, that even if you're having a challenge thinking of something, there's nothing wrong with copying or emulating other people. That's one thing about the beauty industry, from the way we cut hair. It's a bit of a copycat. So if you're stuck for an idea, look into the network, talk to other schools. I promise you, if you're having a hard time coming up with a vision, somebody in the network's got an idea that you could interpret in your way and in your school's vision. So I think it's a big thing for everybody to get on board with this, because we look and collect those brilliant ideas. They don't just go away season by season. They come up again and again. And I think it's just part of what makes this such a visual opportunity and such an interpretive thing for every school, no matter where you are.
Okay, so Paul Mitchell School, Costa Mesa, their theme was It's a Paul Mitchell World. And they had this incredible display with hot air balloons. Their learning leaders and team members were inside each of the balloons, people and flags from many countries, and their fundraising posters on full display. Incredible job there.
And all you got to do is create the conversation. Now, whether people choose to participate or not isn't your problem. Perhaps they just donated to another charity. Perhaps they have no money, but our job is just to give them the offering. And I think the more stimulus we have throughout our buildings to echo the billboard, then it's easier to make the conversation happen. Doesn't sound like you're just picking on one random guest in the school. I think it's a very important part for echoing the message, and for them to know they're coming to a school that's got an environment about giving. And I think that's the most important thing. It's not just about them the contribution. It's about that we're in a place right now where we're in a giving culture. And I think people are going to be proud to be part of that. I know my guests are. So our 21-21 Deck Your Walls. This is the winner for Paul Mitchell School, the Orlando. Now, first of all, they've been very successful this. So I'm just saying, for Wynn and I, we've already told you the secret. We don't have to think about success. We watch other successful people and then emulate it. People like John Paul. There's so many ways that you can pick up on things. So what I love about this, they deck their walls, they deck their lockers, their ceilings, their front desk, and just about everything else in the school, to showcase the charities that they heartfelt quotes from Dr. Seuss theme, which I love. There's nothing like a cat in the hat. I like to write poetry like Dr. Seuss. So to me, it's about, think about the decoration of the salon as being very transformative. And you have these beautiful establishments to create a whole different vision. And then what I think about with repetitive traffic, clients are used to coming into the clinic classroom. When you can change that environment, they are going to comment to you. Don't even need to prompt it. They will ask you, what's going on? Why is there a yellow brick road? Why is there Dr. Seuss quotes all over the place? Just that question already is going to help us create the conversation. And that's what we're trying to prompt. So congratulations, Orlando. You guys are always out front with your vision, always taking the lead. And I can't wait to see what you guys do this year.
This is huge. So, and I get to be the prize. So lucky me, I get to go to Orlando and spend time with the team there. So congratulations, you guys. And thanks to everyone who entered the contest and for decking your schools so beautifully. You'll find more Deck Your Walls photos in our Paul Mitchell Schools Facebook photo album. So check that out.
When, as you mentioned earlier, I'm passionate about the philanthropy that we do as a company, not just at the schools, what JP and Angus, Michaeline do. When we put it all together as a company, we really do outrageous things, from planting trees to everything we do around the world. So I think this is just a part of that step there. But the one thing I want you to really understand, that these donation cards, make sure you're getting them to the right people so we can see, so it can be talked about, and most importantly, celebrated, because I think it's celebrating our victories that bring us closer to the goal. It gives us that fresh kind of fire burner start because you're hearing a victory, and that sort of inspires the rest of the people to go further. So I think it's very important to fill out the donation card, print them, get them to where the desk, the service desk needs them and gets to see them, and mostly just to not keep score, but just to acknowledge your brilliance. That's really what's important about it. Celebrate your victory. And when you celebrate victories, you'll see more happen.
And those donation cards, you guys, are so easy. All you do is just ask people, do you want to donate $1 today or $5? We'll write your name on the card and we'll post it here on our wall. It's so successful. Don't underestimate the power of these little cards. You guys, get this. Children's Miracle Network Hospital raises $60 million a year with their hot air balloon campaign. I'm sure you've seen them in local grocery stores and drugstores. You guys, $60 million a year they raise. And so please, please implement this wonderful strategy and idea to help your guests. I like what Robert said earlier. You're giving people the opportunity. Your job is to provide the ask. You give people the opportunity to get involved and be a part of our fundraising campaign.
Which goes back to what we talked about earlier, when the habit of giving people the opportunity to take products home, to upgrade to a treatment or a hair service. This is the game we've chosen. And as much as it's about the technical thing, to me, the beauty of the beauty industry that I'm still in love with after 40 years, it's the people in our chair. It's the touching the hearts and souls. I took a young lady over to the ring light, which is a big thing in Instagram world. You may not know about it, Wynn, but capturing her. And as we walked her over to the ring light, she said to me, "Wynn, nobody ever takes my picture." And to me, that's where the heart part of our business takes place, and not a better way to you to learn it right now, to have it for a lifetime is what you're doing every day in school. The hair is beautiful, but to me, it's about the person under it. And I think these opportunities are great. So make sure you fill out your cards, get them to the desk so that we can keep score of this, keep score, you do more. And the more we work as a team collecting these ideas, I think we're going to see great results this year.
Oh my God, this has been so fun to do this with you, Robert. I knew it would be because it's fun every single year. I just love the magic that I feel when I'm sharing a stage with you. And so thanks for this. Robert, do you have a final message for our schools?
Well, I think that, I wish I could go back in time when I did not graduate from a Paul Mitchell school, but I think I would have been a little different, because some of the things I learned in school were very helpful later, but I don't think I really got the cultural side of the industry till many years later. And I would just say that it's always been a philosophy. It's in Paul Mitchell's DNA, the giving back. It comes from great leaders like JP. I think this is the most beautiful thing we can do. And if we understand the harnessed power of a whole beauty industry, and that's what we're talking about here, together we can move anything that's impossible. There's no such thing as impossibility. To me, as visionaries, one thing I'll tell all of you, I think great visionaries have to be slightly gullible. I think Walt Disney was slightly gullible when he said, we're going to build Disney World in Swampland. He had to be slightly gullible. JP is an incredible visionary. I think if I told JP I was opening a salon in Mars, he'd go, that's awesome. You've got to be a little gullible. So don't ask the question whether you believe or not. It's not selling out, it's buying in. Buy into the dream, buy into the vision. And I promise you, just like my wonderful career, we always say yes. We always buy into the vision. As a result, every dream I've had has come true. The same is for you, whether you're just a week into your journey at Paul Mitchell School, or whether you graduated 4 or 5 years now. I'll just tell you, when I travel all over the world, there's not a show that I do that there's not a future pro graduate in the audience. So every time I go and people say, how come the crowd love you so much? Because at least 30 to 50% of them are graduates of Paul Mitchell School. I have an audience everywhere I go because of this incredible organization. And we are without a doubt building the most incredible hairstylists, hairdressers, whatever you choose to do with your career in the beauty industry. And that makes me so proud every day to work for this organization, of the great potential that we have and what we've already achieved in the last 20 years and what we're going to do, more importantly, in the next 20 years.
That's just brilliant. Robert, I know you'll agree with me on this because you say it. You and I, we're not the smartest. We're not the prettiest. We're not the most talented. We don't have college degrees, right? But what we do have is a lot of passion, not just for the industry, but especially for for Palm Mitchell schools, and the fact that you continue to bring that to our schools, because you have, 5 other jobs, but the fact that you always continue to say yes to our schools just means the world. So thanks, Robert. I love you and I appreciate you.
Well, I just got to say that payback, when I get to go to one of these schools that do win me as a door prize, the welcome I get is like no other welcome any individual's ever seen in their lifetime. They line up, they cheer. It is humbling. And I work on stages in front of 12,000 people that give me standing ovations, but to walk on one of those lines, go into the school that won me, whether it was Temecula, no matter where it was, Jacksonville, the welcome reception makes every single piece of it worthwhile. And it never surprises me just how connected they are to this beautiful cause and what they've done to make something happen, especially if I'm your prize and I show up in your door. And, for all the people that volunteer their time, there's 20 or 30 you've got pulled into it. No school loses out of this. Every school gets a victory on who comes. And, perhaps Stephanie Kachelski is not available and you go with a John Mosley, you won't be disappointed. The people that you pick for this is very absolutely critical. Some aren't even Paul Mitchell users, but there's still icons of the beauty industry can help you. And I'm just saying, whether you win a prize or not, this is just something beautiful to see. And the feeling I get when I walk into the school, and all the feelings I've had in the beauty industry have been unbelievable and very memorable, but there's nothing like walking into a Paul Mitchell school as the cat in the hat.
Thanks, Robert. And everyone, just please keep sending your photos, your stories about fundraising, your victories. Send them to Nancy@winclaybaugh.com so that we can add them to our photo album, our YouTube channels, our e-blasts, and our Fireburners.
Yeah, and don't forget your hashtags, and I'll just open up your mind a little bit. I like to talk about digitally dangerous. You could be on Pinterest, you could be on YouTube. There's so many ways you can put it out to the beautiful world beyond your location. You may get people that want to sponsor and support you from a distance. So make sure you hashtag it. Let me get it right because I don't want to ruin it. Paul Mitchell the School, PMTS gives 21. That's your hashtag. And I promise you, if you can hashtag everything, get it out there into the world, put it out into the universe. And I will just say, a client may sit in your chair simply because they see the good you're doing. It's about combination of the technical skills you display and the lifestyle. I have a young stylist who works for me. She's a drummer. And so I bet you people out there that go, I'm a drummer, I'm going to go see her. I have a young lady who works for me. She has chicken, she has eggs. She's just, there's so many ways. You could be a workout diva. You could be anything you want to be right now. And don't forget, your story is just as important to a client that wants to sit in your chair. So whether you're a part of LGBTQ, whether you're about being vegan, whatever it is you're about, put a bit of you into this broadcast, because at the end of the day, people are choosing you. And I think that's an important part of brand building and synonymous with Paul Mitchell and this incredible network and what we're doing for people. I couldn't be more proud of each and every one of you.
Thanks, Robert. Wow. Oh, so everybody, this wraps up things for this week. But before you go, please stay tuned for a closer look at Paul Mitchell the School Orlando's winning Deck Your Walls entry, plus a special message from Gary Sinise about how your fundraising supports wounded heroes and veterans through the Gary Sinise Foundation. I love that man. Enjoy the videos and have another great week of fundraising. I can't wait to hear your victories. Thanks, everybody. And thanks, Robert. I love you.
Thank you.
Hi, Paul Mitchell Schools, Gary Sinise here, and I just wanted to take a moment to congratulate all the future professionals and team members on kicking off your 18th year of fundraising. You've raised over $22 million in the past 17 years, simply incredible. So on behalf of all of us here at the Gary Sinise Foundation, thank you all for your continued commitment and selfless support. Good luck. I salute you.
Bye.